Am I the jerk for leaving my husband and stepdaughter stranded at a gas station on Christmas because he gave her my Christmas present? Posted by you/Defiant Mariposa. My husband, 41M, is the worst at gift giving. We have been together for over 3 years, and after the first year of not receiving anything for my birthday, anniversary, Christmas, or Valentine's Day, Mother's Day was the last straw after being told I wasn't his mother. I decided to start matching his energy. Father's Day came, and I was gone all day when normally I would have put together a big lunch/dinner and driven 30 to 45 minutes to pick up his daughter, Anne, now 16, so they could spend the day together. He called me in the afternoon, and I was polite but not initiating conversation. He asked me when I was picking up his daughter, and I replied that I had plans and wasn't aware that I was supposed to pick her up since nothing had been communicated to me. When he responded with, "It's Father's Day," I used his own words against him, "You are not my father." I had anticipated that he would get upset and knew a constructive conversation wouldn't be possible, so when he started to raise his voice, I told him to check the table and hung up. I had left a letter for him, communicating how hurt I was about going out of my way for him and receiving nothing in return. He called me later and said he would try to be better and work on it. I ended up picking up his daughter during the week so they could enjoy a dinner together. Background info: he drives big rig trucks, so the vehicle we use for everyday travel is mine. He's been better about gifts. It's more of a go pick something out and I'll pay for it, which I really don't mind. He does the same thing with his daughter. I do all the shopping for his family's gifts when it comes to birthdays and holidays. Cut to a week before Christmas, and I wake up to my favorite coffee drink and my husband taking me out to eat for breakfast, followed by a trip to the mall to pick out my Christmas gift. I rarely splurge on myself when it comes to purses and clothes. I have a preteen son from my first marriage, so I tend to be more practical and spend on him for his birthday and Christmas. My stepdaughter, however, is very materialistic and always asks for money or something expensive. Between her father, his family, her mother, her mother's family, and her stepfather, she always gets what she wants. I had repeatedly said out loud that I needed a new purse since mine was hanging on by a thread and had decided to invest in a good designer handbag. I started saving money and looking online for my dream purse. So imagine my surprise and excitement when we got to the department store, and I saw that they had my dream purse in stock. My husband gave me a look when he saw the price, and I told him I could contribute, explaining that I had been saving to buy this purse that I had been dreaming about for months. He shook his head and said I deserved it and that he would get it for me, but he also made it clear that since he was buying this, he really couldn't afford to get me anything else. I screamed with delight and told him that was okay, I didn't need anything else. With that taken care of, my husband asked if it was okay for him to go get his daughter and take her Christmas shopping. I had tons to do at home in preparation for the holiday, so this worked out perfectly, as I could have the house empty to get everything done. When we arrived home, I was reaching for my new purse, but he told me to leave it because he had another gift he had previously purchased for me that he was going to put inside the purse for me to open on Christmas. I was on cloud 9, so I kissed him, left my bag, and went inside. I was still busy cleaning and decorating when he got home later that night, and the rest of the days before Christmas were a blur as I tried to get everything ready. I hosted Christmas Eve at my house with my family, and on Christmas Day, I slept in, exhausted from the night before. I woke up just in time to brush my teeth before we headed out to pick up his daughter and then drive to spend the day at his mother's house. I fell asleep during the drive and woke up after he had already picked up his daughter and we were en route to his mom's. I turned around to greet his daughter, and that's when I saw her rummaging through and holding my new purse. I asked, "Where did you get that purse?" And the car fell completely silent. I looked at my husband, and he stayed silent, both hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. I asked her again, this time in a louder, more stern tone. She looked down and quietly mumbled, "My dad gave it to me." I screamed, "You what? How would you think it was okay to give her my new purse?" He told me to calm down, but I cut him off and screamed, "No." I then turned back to his daughter and told her that her father had no right to give her my purse and that she needed to give it back, to which she refused. I could feel my anger raging, then subsiding into a feeling of sadness and complete defeat. I put my coat over my head and leaned against the window, trying to cover my face and mouth as tears started running down my cheeks. My husband pulled over at the next gas station, and his daughter bolted out, taking the purse with her. He tried to comfort me, but I slapped his hand away, told him not to touch me, and gave him a look of disgust. He explained that after he dropped me off that day, he picked up his daughter, took her shopping, and on the way to taking her home, she noticed the bag and saw the purse. She begged and pleaded with him to let her have it, reminding him of all the times he never got her a gift. She told him that giving her this purse would make up for it, and that played on his heart, so he caved and gave it to her. He tried to say he would make it up to me, but I asked him how, knowing it was impossible. He had already spent his money and made it clear that he wasn't going to have money to buy me anything else. I couldn't help but get upset as I tried to get him to understand how hurt I felt. It wasn't as if she was suffering, she was getting presents from her mother, stepfather, and their families, plus the gifts she was going to receive from his family. He had already spent money on her for Christmas, and that was my one gift. I know Christmas isn't about getting presents, but I was extremely upset that my husband could be so thoughtless and not consider the amount of pain this would cause me. His phone rang. It was his daughter calling from inside the store, asking him to come in because she needed money to buy something. As he was walking inside, I looked back at all the gifts I had picked out for his family with care. Something came over me. I stopped crying, got out of the car, got into the driver's seat, wiped my face, and peeled out of the gas station parking lot, leaving my husband and stepdaughter behind. I turned my phone off and drove back to town, spending the day with my family at my cousin's house. I ignored my husband's calls and didn't return home until late the following day. The only call I did return was from my stepdaughter's mother after she left me a hateful message about leaving her daughter stranded because I was jealous that her father had bought her a new purse. I set her straight, telling her she had been misled. Her father didn't buy her a new purse, he bought me one, and she guilt-tripped him into giving it to her after he had already bought her expensive gifts. She apologized and tried to find a solution, but I told her not to bother. The damage was done. I later found out from my sister-in-law that my husband's brother picked them up, and the story came out that evening. His mother is on his side, while his brother, sister-in-law, and other aunts and uncles sided with me and reprimanded his daughter. I haven't spoken to his daughter since Christmas, and things at home are unsettling. I have become more distant from my husband. When I make dinner, I don't serve him a plate, only my son and myself. I only engage in conversation with my son. At night, he tries to reach for me, but I always end up crying. I am not angry or mad, I just feel nothing. He's back on the road, and I do miss him, but I can't shake the feeling of how he let me down. I cannot hide my looks of disappointment. Looking to see what others have to say about the situation. Notable comments. Commenter. I read this, and it reminded me of a time when I had asked for only one thing for my birthday and Christmas one year, a video camera. I'm really old, so that I could save memories of my kids growing up. My husband, soon after X, made a big deal about saying he knew and understood, and I was going to get one. We researched the best ones. I talked about it often. I was so excited for it. My 30th birthday passed, no gift, but it was okay because I knew what I was getting for Christmas. I was so excited. I rarely wanted anything special, but that, I did want. We get to his mom's, the family's there, and a box about the size of a video camera is placed under the tree by him. We start opening gifts, kids first, of course, then his siblings and mom. Then it's our turn, and my son picks up the box, looks up, and says, "It's for X's name here from Santa." I'm confused but still hoping that's just how he hid it. Nope, he bought himself a brand new, top of the line, at the time, video camera with all the bells and whistles. I got a gift certificate for a chain restaurant. I went ice cold inside. I was so hurt and angry, just ice cold. His comment when I started to quietly cry? Well, you can use it when I'm not using it. I told you that to tell you this. Once you feel that ice cold pain from the person who is supposed to cherish and love you, you cannot regrow that original love. Think over your life, decide what's best for you, but please don't stay hoping he'll be better. That was his best, he won't be better. I stayed too long hoping. I wish I hadn't, not just for myself, but for my two sons, because they saw him treat me in little ways and in that big one, showing that I wasn't important to him. Please know you deserve that purse, it wasn't his to give. He knew that. He decided it didn't matter. You do matter. You deserve to keep your gift. He pulled a crap move on you, and you are in no way to blame for it. Update 4 weeks later. Wow, I did not expect this to blow up like it did. Thank you to everyone who reached out. I meant to come back and update sooner, my apologies. I wanted to clear up some things and defend myself against being portrayed as more pathetic than I actually am. 1. I did not pay for the purse. I offered, but he paid the full amount. 2. He technically pays for the gifts for his family for Christmas. We have an account that he deposits money into, and this is what is used to pay bills and other expenses, including gifts for his family for birthdays and other special occasions. I'm the one who actually shops for the gifts, makes them personal for each person, does all the wrapping, and adds to the budget as I see fit. 3. This detail was erased when I was first posting and trying to edit, but it's a key factor. When I confronted my stepdaughter about returning the purse, she refused to speak and just shook her head no. Her father then yelled her name, and that's when she dropped the bomb on us. She had already written her name inside the purse. She wrote it in big black permanent marker. At that moment, my rage turned into defeat because the purse became worthless to me, hence my emotional reaction. 4. For those questioning why I reacted now when I must have known early on that he didn't give gifts, after attending family events with him, I noticed right away that he never brought gifts. So when it came to my birthday, Valentine's Day, or any special occasion, I would take the initiative to drive us to wherever I wanted my gift from so he could purchase it. As our relationship became more serious, my gifts turned into trips that I planned, and he paid for. So this wasn't going to be my first time receiving a gift, but it was going to be my first time having an actual gift under the tree. 5. I introduced one of my really good friends to his brother, and she is now my sister-in-law, my ally, and my source of information. We met for lunch a week after the new year to exchange gifts. She informed me that when they arrived at his mom's, my husband didn't want to talk about what happened. My stepdaughter likes to show off her gifts, as most teenagers do. While they were gathered around the table, my sister-in-law was trying to talk to my husband, but my stepdaughter kept interrupting, trying to get everyone's attention on her new purse and their gifts. My sister-in-law said the table fell silent, there were exchanged glances among family members, and then chaos broke out. Aunts and uncles started yelling at my husband, asking how he could buy his daughter such an expensive purse while arriving empty-handed for his mother. That's when he finally broke and loudly responded, "I didn't get my daughter the purse. I got my wife the purse. My daughter just took it." His daughter got upset for being outed and reprimanded by family members, so she called her mom to come get her. 6. By the time her mother arrived, I had already spoken to her about what happened. She went inside to talk to her father because the version she was getting from her daughter was obviously different. The truth was, he took her shopping, and on the way home, she saw the department store bag, looked inside, and found the purse. She started begging for it, then guilt-tripping him to give it to her. He told her no and spoke to her about being ungrateful and selfish. She then tried to get him to take her to a friend's house instead of home, which led to another argument because she was grounded due to failing classes and knew she wasn't allowed to go anywhere. At drop-off, she grabbed her bags and stormed out, slamming the car door. When he got home and reached behind the seat to grab the bag, he realized it was empty. She had taken the purse anyway. He called her, but she didn't answer, so he left a message telling her she'd better be ready to give up the purse on Christmas. 7. Her mother later called and yelled at him for getting her such an expensive purse while she was failing classes. Instead of explaining what actually happened, he just told her she had no idea what she was talking about and hung up. Her writing her name inside the purse was a shock to him, and that's why he pulled over at the next gas station. He didn't want me to be more upset with her, so he opted not to tell me she had stolen it and just took the blame. 8. The other gift he was planning to put inside the purse was lingerie. It was in a small gift bag on my side of the bed. He was upset when I sent our pit bull, Chico, downstairs wearing a red nightie. Some comments seemed to misunderstand and assume that the purse was going to be the first gift he had ever given me. I want to clarify that this is not true. I posted about him not getting me a gift for my birthday, Christmas, and other occasions. This happened during our first year of marriage. For my birthday, I planned a dinner that included my parents, siblings, close friends, and family. My husband arrived empty-handed and over an hour and a half late because he stayed late at work. I stayed quiet because I didn't want to cause a scene or draw more attention to the fact that he hadn't gotten me anything and was so late. This is the same reason I cut him off when he looked around at my gifts and flowers from my guests and started saying, "Man, I feel so bad for not getting you." That weekend, I woke up to flowers and chocolate sprinkled all over the bed, followed by breakfast and my husband asking what was still on my birthday wish list, so we could go get it. On our first anniversary, I set up a table outside with candles, hung up white lights, and was preparing beef Wellington with a bottle of champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries. That morning, I woke him up with a kiss, said happy anniversary, and told him I had a surprise planned for later. He called me when he should have already been home, saying he had picked up an extra work shift, and was excited about how much extra pay he would receive. We used the additional money from this and other extra shifts, many of which happened to coincide with special occasions and holidays, to go to Hawaii. It wasn't until I stopped planning something for him on Father's Day that he started making an effort to get gifts ahead of time and remember special occasions. When my husband got home from being on the road, he took my son and me out to a steakhouse and handed each of us a gift bag. Inside were brand new AirPods. At first, my son was confused because he didn't have an iPhone, but then came the second surprise. After dinner, we were heading to AT&T to get new phones for both of us. I haven't really spoken to his daughter, but I was told that her failing classes and sneaking out have caused a strain in her relationship with her mother. I am not looking for pity or sympathy. I am not a doormat, and my husband is not a heartless monster. I am in a much better frame of mind now than I was then. Thank you for taking the time to hear me. Editor's note. Op was heavily criticized in the comments for ignoring advice, being a doormat, the stepdaughter getting away practically scot-free for stealing while keeping the purse, and staying with her husband. AITAH has since deleted her account.